I am not a speedrunner. In fact, I'm not even that good at most games I play. But I've always been fascinated by speedrunning, using small skips and movement optimizations that have to be memorized just to save those little 5 milliseconds needed so you can get a PB or world record. It's pretty cool, but as interesting as speedrunning is, I've hardly ever tried it. Sure, maybe I've gotten a bit of a taste of it with the records in Mario Maker 2 or trying to beat my friend's time trial on Sky High Sunday, but I've never actually submitted an accepted run of any category in any game. Granted, that's not from lack of trying though. Hell, if you scroll down far enough on this channel, you'll find the shitty Rhythm Heaven Fever speedrun that I tried to do, but couldn't submit because they don't allow emulated runs.
You're a loser!
I've always thought it would be funny if I could call myself a former world record holder, or even just a top runner in something. So of course in the past, I've tried looking for games with no speedrunning history, but I could never find anything. It's like trying to start a Family Guy Funny Clips channel nowadays, like sorry buddy, the market's saturated, try something else. Truthfully though, it was just that I didn't have the skill or dedication to learn any real runs in games I was interested in. But recently, an opportunity opened up, and that previous shell has been shed. I'm coming out of the closet. That's right. You're technically looking at a top Silksong speedrunner. Let me explain. So, it turns out despite the Rage compilations, I'm actually pretty decent at Silksong. I mean, not good enough to tackle any of the real categories, but maybe just good enough to try out the meme categories. The issue is, there's not really any meme categories on the Silksong speedrun boards. Well, at least not officially. See, the way it works in the community is that they have a separate board maintained in the speedrunning Discord server for meme runs, where, if a category sees enough interest from runners, could become a real and official category. And one of these unofficial categories stood out to me, jail percent. See, you can actually get soft locked in the slab if you get captured and taken there without ever freeing the bell beast and unlocking the bellways. So the joke is basically, how fast can you get a felony misdemeanor and go to prison? What's perfect about it too is that I already learned all the skips I need for the run since I used them in my previous fewest upgrades video. It's a similar path, except instead of trying to beat the game, you just take a quick detour to commit a hit and run and get life in prison. And you know what's better than that? There are only 2 runs in this category. All I'd need to do is complete 1 run and I'd instantly be podium, meaning I'd be a top 3 Silksong jail percent speedrunner. So I fired up my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/saying with 3 Gs, by the way, and started grinding. And by grinding, I mean failing in the first 10 minutes of the run like 5 times in a row and resetting, but I did eventually put a run together. Here's how it went. My initial run was pretty simple. You just gotta get out of the Moss Grotto and past the Moss Mommy. Oh yeah, don't forget to spam jump and down slash over and over. It makes you move slightly faster. Anyway, continue on past Bone Bottom and into the Marrow, then go through a quick gauntlet and land on the other side of the gate Sherma's behind. Pick up these rosaries because we'll need them later, but also don't forget to open the gate for Sherma because otherwise it's rude and will hurt Sherma's feelings and you will be a monster that is cursed to stub your toe on every piece of furniture you walk past for the rest of your life. Anyway, you gotta make your way up to the Moss home next, because now that we're here, we need to grind up to exactly 510 rosaries, 520 if you're on release patch, because we need enough rosaries for the key to the wormways, and to have enough to be able to buy the bellway and the slab later. Now at this point, you could go grab Silk Spear to kill enemies a little bit faster in the Moss home, but I didn't do that in this run. Nevertheless, once you have the rosaries, head back down to Bone Bottom, and don't forget to open the elevator, then buy the simple key off Pep. Go back up and we can use some pogos to get to the wormways, and continue left until you get to this door to unlock it. This is where those skips from that previous video come in. Since I've already talked about them in detail, I'll just go over them quickly here. If you want to learn exactly how to do them, you can go check that video out. But essentially, you'll need to kill Hornet here, then come back and use a climb up jump and a cocoon pogo plus heal stall to get to this ledge, then continue right and use another heal stall to get to this ledge, grind up Silk without touching safe ground, then reset and heal stall onto here, and you'll be able to exit the wormways and cross the gap into Shellwood. Then it's the Shellwood skips, and we have to go up into this room, ridge bait this guy around the corner and pogo off him and another dude to get across, and then do more pogoing to keep going left until here where you pogo off another flower dude to get up there, then go back to the right just pogoing off of flowers and down slashing to make up distance, and you'll get clean grip. Then head over to Bellheart and drop down below and navigate through the secret bell tunnels and you'll land in the deep docks. And with all the big skips out of the way, we can finally head down to where the fattest fly captures you, right here. But before that, it's potentially an overall time save to pick up Dash first since it's right by here and it'll make getting around the slab easier and hopefully faster because the run actually ends when you open the slab bellway just to prove you're soft locked. That means you'll have to complete the slab and get your stuff back before you finish the run. It is possible though to do the slab without the dash, it's just a question of whether or not it's an overall time save to go pick up dash first since it'll help you move around faster. I really don't know, it's something that has to be tested. Anyway, since I was getting dash, you can just head up and smash this quick gauntlet and drop down to get it over here on the left. Then just head back into the jail bug room and bada bing bada boom, we're in jail. Now it's literally just do the slab as fast as possible. There are 2 enemy gauntlets in here, but just lock in and you'll be fine. Here's a map of the pathing through the slab. It's pretty simple, honestly. Right before you get your stuff back in the second enemy gauntlet, though, make sure you grab this frayed rosary on top of the slab. It will give you the extra 30 rosaries you need to open the bellway. And that's basically the run, or at least that was my first run. Jail percent in 5103, making me officially, technically, a top Silksong speedrunner. Except, I did find out later that there are a few skips I didn't know about in that run. And, well, once I implemented them... I got the second place spot, baby! That's right, you're looking at a top 2 Silksong speedrunner! The new skips are, instead of going through the Marrow Gauntlet and around, you can use this baby Beastfly asshole as a pogo to get onto this ledge and literally skip all of that. Sorry, Sherma, a man's got a new PB to set. Another change is I went for Silk Spear, since you can grind up rosaries along the way, and it will help kill enemies faster during grinding and the upcoming enemy gauntlets in the slab and before dash. There are also some minor skips, saving time crossing the gap to Shellwood and getting back to the jail bug from dash faster, but overall, after implementing these and 2 PBs later, I had knocked down my original 51-minute run by 11 minutes to a 40:17, officially putting me in second place. And in fact, I technically got a sub 40 with that run. See, the current world record uses a timing system where the timer pauses during loading screens, which is something I have literally no idea how to set up on my timer. I'm fucking stupid. I have the same amount of brain cells as a lost flea, which is 0. Well, after doing some rudimentary math, I was able to determine that for my PB, using this new timing method, it would bring the run down to around a 39:15, meaning I'm literally only 4.5 minutes behind world record. Theoretically, if I lock in and grind out runs, I could get world record. But you know what I really want? I want this to be a real category, so I can say I was an official top Silksong runner. So, if you're interested in running this category, do it! The more people interested and running a category, the more likely it is to become official. But do beware, you'll need to use a down patch version of the game because the recent Silksong patch made it impossible to get soft locked in the slab. Damn you, Team Cherry! If you need a tutorial on how to do this, I've linked it in the comments. So, yeah, basically, not only did I beat Coral Tower on my 3rd try and Grohl on my 2nd try, I'm technically a top 2 jail percent speedrunner. So unless all of you decide to start running jail percent to dethrone me, I'm basically still the Silksong GOAT. And even if you all do that, it'll just make my former top 2 a legitimate record. So, ha! I win no matter what happens!